My beloved brothers and sisters, every person reaches moments in life where the heart feels heavy and the path feels unclear. Problems come one after another, plans fail, and sometimes you quietly ask yourself why everything feels so hard. In these moments, shaitan makes you feel abandoned, as if your struggles mean Allah has turned away from you. But the believer understands something deeper. Difficulty is not a sign of Allah's distance. Often it is a sign of His attention. Allah sees the tear you hide, the worry you carry, and the patience you try to maintain. He does not promise a life without hardship, but He promises that you are never alone in it. When you turn to Him in your weakness, you discover a strength you never had before. Hardship is part of every life. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the biggest causes of sadness is the belief that life was supposed to be easy. When difficulties appear, a person feels something is wrong with them or that Allah is displeased with them. But Allah never promised a life without hardship. From the beginning of humanity, every prophet and every righteous person experienced struggle. Pain is not a sign of failure. It is part of the journey of living in this world. The believer understands that dunya was created as a place of test, not a place of permanent comfort. When you accept this truth, your heart stops asking, "Why me?" and begins asking, "How should I respond?" This change brings calmness. You realize hardship is not punishment by default. Often it is preparation, growth, and protection you cannot yet see. Look at your own life carefully. The moments that shaped you the most were not the easiest days. They were the days you cried, waited, and endured. Through difficulty, you learned patience, empathy, and reliance on Allah. If life contained only comfort, your heart would become attached to the world and forget its creator. Hardship gently pulls your attention back to Allah. When everything goes well, you may forget to make sincere dua. But when you struggle, you speak to Him honestly. In those sincere moments, your relationship with Allah deepens. What you see as a burden may actually be a bridge. Sometimes the difficulty is emotional rather than physical. You may feel lonely even among people. Plans fail despite effort. Doors close without explanation. These moments hurt deeply because they confuse you. Yet Allah sees beyond what you see. A closed door may be protection from harm you cannot imagine. A delay may be mercy. The believer trusts that Allah's wisdom is greater than immediate understanding. Acceptance does not remove sadness completely, but it removes despair. You still feel pain, but you feel hope with it. Do not compare your life with others. You see their smiles, but not their private struggles. Every person carries a test suited to them. Wealth, health, relationships, and time are all different forms of examination. What appears easy for someone may be their trial, and what is difficult for you may raise your rank. Allah distributes tests with perfect knowledge. When you stop comparing, you stop feeling unfairly treated. You begin focusing on patience instead of jealousy. Hardship also teaches humility. It reminds you that you need Allah constantly. When you rely only on your own strength, you become anxious because you cannot control everything. But when you rely on Allah, your heart rests. You understand that effort is yours, but outcome is His. This trust reduces fear. You still work and try, but you no longer carry the burden alone. During trials, shaitan whispers that Allah has abandoned you. This is his greatest lie. Allah is closer to you in hardship than in comfort. He hears every silent prayer and every sigh. Sometimes the difficulty itself is a way of drawing you nearer to Him. When you raise your hands sincerely after long neglect, that moment is beloved to Allah. Your struggle brought you back to Him. Be patient with yourself during difficult days. Faith does not mean you never feel sad. Even the prophets felt grief. Patience means you continue trusting Allah while feeling pain. You do not give up worship and you do not lose hope. You allow your tears but keep your faith. This balance strengthens the heart. Allah rewards not only your endurance but your effort to remain hopeful. Over time, you will notice that some hardships change you for the better. You become kinder to others because you understand pain. You become grateful for small blessings because you experienced loss. Your priorities shift from temporary things to meaningful ones. Hardship refines your character gently. Allah shapes hearts through experience. Relief often comes in ways you did not expect. A new path opens, a worry fades, or your heart simply becomes stronger. Sometimes the situation changes and sometimes you change. Either way, Allah grants ease. The believer learns that difficulty is never permanent. Every trial has a time limit known to Allah alone. Remember always, hardship is part of life, but loneliness is not. Allah remains with the one who remembers Him. When you turn to Him sincerely, your burden becomes lighter. You may still walk through a storm, but you walk with guidance and hope. Hold firmly to faith, and you will discover that even difficult days carry hidden mercy. Patience brings you closer to Allah. My beloved brothers and sisters, patience is one of the greatest qualities a believer can develop. When life becomes heavy, the natural reaction is frustration or complaint. Yet Allah teaches that patience is not weakness, it is strength of the heart. Patience means you continue trusting Allah even when you do not understand His plan. You may feel hurt, confused or tired, but you do not turn away from Him. Instead, you turn toward Him more. This turning brings you closer to Allah than easy days ever could. Many people think patience means doing nothing, but that is not correct. Patience means you keep trying while keeping your faith calm. You make effort, you seek solutions, and you ask Allah for help, but you do not lose hope. You accept that outcomes are in His control. This balance protects your mind from panic. When you trust Allah's wisdom, anxiety reduces. Your heart rests because you know someone greater than you is managing your affairs. Sometimes patience is required in waiting. You make dua for something important, yet the answer does not come quickly. Days pass and you feel forgotten. In reality, Allah hears every word. Delay does not mean rejection. It may mean preparation, protection, or a better timing. While you wait, your relationship with Allah grows. You speak to Him more sincerely. Waiting becomes worship when filled with trust. At other times, patience is needed in pain. Illness, loss, or emotional hurt may enter your life suddenly. You feel helpless. In those moments, patience means you do not abandon your faith. You continue praying even through tears. You say words of remembrance even when your heart feels weak. Allah sees your effort. Your pain does not distance you from Him. It brings you nearer. Patience also appears in controlling anger. When someone hurts you, the first urge is reaction. Yet holding back for Allah's sake is powerful. Silence at the right moment protects your peace. Forgiving someone for Allah purifies your heart. The believer who restrains anger earns closeness to Allah because they chose His pleasure over ego. During hardship, shaitan whispers negative thoughts. He tells you nothing will improve and that your prayers do not matter. Patience rejects these whispers. You remind yourself that Allah is merciful and wise. Even without seeing results, you continue believing. This belief strengthens your Iman. Faith grows strongest in moments of uncertainty. Patience also brings clarity. When emotions calm, you think better. Decisions become wiser because you are not reacting out of panic. Allah places light in a patient heart. You begin noticing lessons in experiences. Instead of asking only why hardship happened, you learn what it is teaching you. With patience comes emotional healing. You stop replaying pain constantly. You release control over what you cannot change. Trust replaces tension. You may still feel sadness, but it does not consume you. Your heart learns to lean on Allah rather than on circumstances. Patience increases gratitude as well. Difficult days make you appreciate small blessings. A peaceful moment, a kind word, or a healthy day becomes meaningful. Gratitude and patience grow together. A believer who practices both finds contentment. Patience is also needed in leaving sin. Changing habits takes time. You may struggle repeatedly. Continue trying and asking Allah for strength. Each attempt counts. Allah loves effort. Over time, the struggle becomes easier. The patient believer succeeds gradually. Encourage yourself with remembrance during trials. Saying simple words of dhikr calms the heart. These words remind you that Allah is near. Remembrance strengthens patience because it keeps your focus on Him rather than the problem. Patience improves relationships too. When you respond gently during tension, conflicts reduce. Others feel safe around you. Your character becomes a source of comfort. Allah places respect in the patient person's presence. Relief always follows patience, though its form may differ from your expectations. Sometimes the situation changes, sometimes your heart changes. Either way, Allah grants ease. The believer learns that no hardship lasts forever. Continue asking Allah to grant you patience. It is a gift from Him. The more you seek it, the more He helps you develop it. Patience is learned through experience and strengthened through faith. Hold firmly to patience and you will feel closeness to Allah growing. Your worries become lighter and your hope stronger. The one who remains patient discovers that hardship becomes a path to mercy, and through it the heart finds peace with its Creator. Tests purify the heart. My beloved brothers and sisters, when a difficulty enters your life, your first feeling is often pain and confusion. You wonder why it happened and what you did wrong. But not every hardship is a punishment. Many times it is purification. Just as water cleans the body, tests clean the heart, Allah removes hidden weaknesses through trials. Pride, attachment and heedlessness slowly leave you when you face challenges. What feels heavy at first becomes a means of mercy. The believer understands that Allah does not harm without purpose. He refines you so your heart becomes sincere and closer to Him. During easy days, a person can become distracted. Comfort makes you feel independent, as if you control your life completely. When a test appears, that illusion breaks. You realize how much you need Allah. This awareness is purification. You begin making sincere dua again. You remember Allah not only in routine but in urgency. The heart that was asleep becomes awake. Tests bring humility, and humility brings closeness to Allah. Sometimes the test is emotional. You feel loneliness even among people. You feel misunderstood and tired inside. In those moments you speak to Allah honestly. Your dua becomes real, not just memorized words. Tears in private are valuable. Allah sees what no one else sees. Your hidden patience becomes a source of reward. A purified heart speaks to Allah without pretending strength. Other tests are loss. Losing something dear hurts deeply. Yet through loss you learn that nothing in this world is permanent. You release attachment slowly and depend on Allah instead. The heart that once clung to people or possessions begins clinging to its Creator. This shift is purification. You discover stability not in things but in faith. Illness also purifies. Physical weakness reminds you of your human limits. You slow down and reflect. You become grateful for simple blessings like movement and breath. Gratitude grows when comfort decreases. Allah erases sins through hardship and raises your rank. A believer who remains patient during illness gains closeness to Allah. Trials also remove arrogance. Success sometimes makes a person proud without noticing. A test gently returns humility. You understand that strength and ability are gifts, not guarantees. You treat others more kindly because you recognize shared weakness. Purification improves character as well as faith. During hardship, your priorities change. You care less about impressing people and more about pleasing Allah. This is a clean heart forming. You focus on sincere worship instead of appearance. Purification removes showing off and replaces it with honesty. Allah loves the servant whose heart is genuine. You may not see wisdom immediately. Some tests take time to understand. Later you look back and realize how they changed you. You became more patient, forgiving and grateful. What once felt unbearable became a turning point. Allah knew the benefit before you did. Do not think purification means absence of sadness. You may still feel hurt. Even prophets felt grief. Purification means you carry pain with faith. You cry, but you trust. Your sadness does not remove your hope. This balance strengthens your heart. Keep turning to Allah during trials. Speak to Him often. Ask for strength and acceptance. Continuous connection helps you grow. Without remembrance, hardship feels empty. With remembrance, hardship gains meaning. Meaning makes endurance easier. Tests also teach empathy. After your struggle, you understand others better. You comfort people sincerely because you experience similar pain. Allah uses your hardship to help others. Your patience becomes mercy for someone else. Avoid thinking you are being singled out unfairly. Every person faces a test suited to them. Wealth, health, family and time are all examinations. Allah chooses what benefits you spiritually. Trust His wisdom even when you do not see it. relief eventually arrives. Sometimes circumstances improve. Sometimes your heart becomes stronger. Either way, Allah grants ease. You recognize growth within yourself. The purified heart feels calm even before external change. Continue thanking Allah in both ease and difficulty. Gratitude protects the purity you gain. Remember how the test brought you closer. Gratitude keeps you humble and hopeful. Tests purify the heart and prepare it for closeness to Allah. Through hardship, your faith becomes sincere. You learn reliance and patience. What once seemed painful becomes meaningful. The believer who understands this walks through trials with hope, knowing Allah is shaping their heart for peace and mercy. Dua gives strength in weak moments. My beloved brothers and sisters, every person reaches moments when their strength feels finished. You try to remain patient, yet your heart becomes tired. In those moments, Allah gave you a direct connection. Dua, supplication is not only for emergencies, it is a source of strength. When you raise your hands, you are not speaking into emptiness. You are speaking to the one who controls every outcome. This awareness alone brings calmness. Even before a situation changes, your heart feels supported. A believer becomes strong not because life is easy, but because they know where to turn when it is hard. Sometimes you cannot explain your pain to people. You fear being misunderstood or judged. Dua gives you a private space where honesty is safe. You can speak freely to Allah about fears, sadness, and confusion. He already knows your feelings, yet He loves hearing them from you. This expression releases pressure from the heart. Emotional weight becomes lighter. A servant who shares burdens with Allah sleeps with more peace. When you make dua, you admit you need help. This admission is not weakness, it is faith. Depending only on yourself creates anxiety because you cannot control everything. Turning to Allah replaces anxiety with reliance. You continue effort, but your heart stops carrying the whole burden. Trust grows slowly each time you ask Him. Dua helps during decisions. You may feel unsure about choices in work, relationships, or future plans. After asking Allah sincerely, your mind becomes clearer. Guidance often appears as calmness in the heart. Confusion decreases. Even if the path is still difficult, you walk it with confidence because you sought Allah's help. Weakness sometimes appears as fear of the future. You worry about what might happen. Through dua, you place tomorrow with Allah. You remind yourself that He knows what you do not know. This reduces overthinking. Your mind rests because you trust His wisdom. There are days when motivation disappears. Worship feels heavy and your energy low. Speak to Allah honestly in those moments. Ask Him to help you pray and remain patient. A sincere request for strength becomes strength itself. Allah assists the servant who asks. During sadness, tears may come easily. Crying in dua is healing. You release feelings without shame. Allah hears silent tears as clearly as spoken words. After sincere supplication, your chest feels lighter. This comfort is part of the answer. Sometimes answers seem delayed. You continue asking, yet the situation remains. Remember that delay is not neglect. Allah may be preparing something better or protecting you from harm. Waiting with faith strengthens your heart. Dua teaches patience as well as hope. Dua also strengthens gratitude. You thank Allah for blessings you often overlook. Gratitude increases contentment. The believer who combines asking and thanking lives peacefully even with challenges. Make dua for others too. Pray for your parents, family and friends. This removes resentment and fills your heart with mercy. Angels make the same supplication for you. You gain reward and emotional peace together. Short phrases of remembrance throughout the day also count as supplication. Saying astaghfirullah or asking for ease keeps your heart connected. Constant connection prevents despair. Your mind returns to Allah repeatedly. Before sleep, speak to Allah about your day. Share what hurt you and what you hope for tomorrow. This habit relaxes your thoughts. You sleep trusting Allah's care. Rest becomes deeper and calmer. During success, continue making dua. Do not wait only for hardship. Asking Allah in good times strengthens your relationship with Him. Gratitude protects blessings and prevents pride. Dua changes your perspective. Problems may still exist, but your reaction improves. You become patient and gentle. Faith grows because you witness emotional relief after supplication. Teach children and family to make dua as well. Encourage them to ask Allah about their needs. This builds trust in Allah from a young age. Homes filled with supplication feel peaceful. In moments of anger, pause and make a short dua. Ask Allah for calmness. You will notice your reactions soften. Supplication controls emotions better than argument. Continue asking even if you fall into mistakes. Seek forgiveness and begin again. Allah loves repeated turning. Each return strengthens your sincerity. Dua reminds you that you are never alone. Even in quiet nights, Allah hears you. This certainty removes loneliness. The believer feels accompanied by divine care. Over time, you will notice inner strength growing. Situations that once overwhelmed you become manageable. This is the effect of reliance on Allah. Carry dua beyond Ramadan and into daily life. Keep this conversation constant. The servant who speaks to Allah often walks through life with reassurance, courage, and peace in every weak moment. Trusting Allah reduces anxiety. My beloved brothers and sisters, anxiety often begins when you feel you must control everything. You think every outcome depends only on your effort, so your mind never rests. Islam teaches a different approach. You do your best and leave the result to Allah. This is trust or tawakkul. When you truly believe Allah is managing what you cannot, your heart becomes calmer. You still plan and work, but you stop carrying the burden alone. A believer sleeps easier because they know their affairs are with the Most Wise. Trusting Allah does not mean ignoring responsibility. You continue your effort sincerely. You study, work, and try to fix your problems. After doing your part, you accept that the final result is not yours to control. This acceptance removes constant fear. You realize worry will not change destiny. Effort is your duty and outcome belongs to Allah. Understanding this balance protects your mind from exhaustion. Many anxieties come from thinking about the future. You imagine problems that have not happened. Your thoughts create fear. Trust in Allah brings you back to the present. You remind yourself that tomorrow is under His knowledge. He already knows what you will face and how to help you. This certainty relaxes your mind. Instead of endless worry, you focus on what you can do today. When plans fail, anxiety grows quickly. You feel your effort was wasted. But trust teaches you that a closed door is not always lost. Allah may be protecting you from harm or guiding you to a better path. You may not understand immediately, but time often reveals wisdom. Acceptance replaces frustration. Your heart stays steady even when direction changes. Trust also helps during financial worry. Many fear losing provision or stability. Remember that sustenance comes from Allah, not from a job or person alone. Means are only tools. Allah is the provider. When you believe this deeply, you continue working, but your fear decreases. You know your provision will reach you in its time. Health concerns also create anxiety. Illness makes you feel powerless. Trusting Allah brings comfort. You seek treatment and take care of yourself, yet you remember healing comes from Him. This belief gives patience. Even during sickness, your heart feels supported. Faith provides emotional strength alongside physical treatment. Relationships can also cause worry. You fear losing someone or being misunderstood. Place these matters with Allah. Treat people kindly, but remember hearts are in His control. When you stop trying to control others, your mind relaxes. You focus on good character rather than constant fear. Overthinking often disappears when trust increases. You stop replaying every possible outcome. Instead, you say that Allah will choose what is best. The statement calms your thoughts. Repeating it sincerely trains your mind toward peace. Remembrance strengthens trust. Saying simple words of dhikr reminds you Allah is near. With remembrance, your heart returns to certainty. Anxiety fades because connection increases. The believer who remembers Allah often feels secure. Dua also supports trust. When you ask Allah for guidance, you accept His decision afterward. This acceptance removes regret. You may still feel sadness but not panic. Trust brings emotional stability. Trust grows through experience. Each time Allah helps you through difficulty, your confidence increases. You remember previous relief and believe future relief will come too. Your heart learns from past mercy. Patience and trust work together. Patience keeps you steady while waiting. Trust keeps your hope alive. Together they protect you from despair. A believer holds both qualities. Gratitude also supports trust. When you notice blessings, you recognize Allah's care. You realize He has helped you before and will help you again. Gratitude strengthens reliance. Do not confuse trust with laziness. You still act responsibly. You take steps, seek advice, and make effort. Trust means your heart is calm while you work. You are active but not fearful. Teach yourself to release what you cannot control. Some matters belong only to Allah. Accepting this truth gives freedom. You stop blaming yourself for everything beyond your ability. When anxiety appears, pause and remember Allah's mercy. Tell yourself He is managing your life better than you could. This thought restores calmness. Faith corrects fearful thinking. Trust also improves sleep. A person who relies on Allah rests easier. Their mind does not race endlessly. They sleep knowing they did their best and left the rest. Continue practicing trust daily. It becomes easier with repetition. Over time, worry reduces and patience increases. Your character becomes calmer. The believer who trusts Allah walks through life with courage. Problems still exist, but fear decreases. You feel supported by divine care. Hold firmly to trust and you will feel your anxiety soften. Life remains challenging, but your heart remains steady. The one who relies on Allah lives with peace because they know they are never carrying life alone. Relief comes after sincerity. My beloved brothers and sisters, many people wait for relief while their hearts remain distant from Allah. They ask for ease, yet they forget sincerity. Relief is not only connected to time, it is connected to turning back to Allah honestly. When a servant becomes sincere, something inside changes first. You stop pretending strength and you admit your need. In that honest moment, the heart softens. Allah loves sincerity more than perfect words. The beginning of relief often starts within you before it appears around you. Sincerity means you speak to Allah without showing off and without distraction. You do not make dua only because others are watching or because you feel pressured. You ask because you truly need Him. When your heart focuses only on Allah, your supplication becomes real. A sincere dua carries humility and hope. Allah responds to the heart before the tongue. Sometimes relief is delayed because the heart is attached to the world. You depend only on people or plans. When those supports fail, you finally turn to Allah fully. That turning is sincerity. You realize He was always your real support. Once your reliance becomes true, your anxiety begins to reduce. Relief starts entering quietly. Sincerity also means repentance. When you admit your mistakes honestly, you remove a barrier between you and Allah. Pride keeps the heart closed. Humility opens